More trouble in the House of the All Progressives Congress as the party's leadership constitutes a panel to investigate Timi Frank for what they say are anti-party activities. But the APC's acting publicity secretary is calling the National Working Committee's bluff, insisting he cannot be summoned by kangaroo court. That's our focus tonight on the program. Many thanks for joining in, everyone. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. We are reaching you from our global headquarters here in Lagos. I'm Imana Amawe. And tonight we continue with the rumblings within the ranks of the All Progressives Congress. Of course, the party has set up a panel of inquiry chaired by Solomon Edoja to investigate Timi Frank, the acting National Publicity Secretary, for what it describes as anti-party activities. And this comes after he called for the resignation of the APC National Chairman, Chief John Oyegun, but he's saying that all this is a ploy to silence him. Before we proceed further into the matter, let me remind you that you can be part of the conversation. Remember, we are live right now on Facebook. Go ahead, watch, share your comments and be part of the show. We look forward to hearing from you. Many thanks for staying with us, everyone. Let's also bring you up to speed on some other stories we've been following. Today, the Upper Legislative Chamber took a bold step by passing the Code of Conduct Amendment Bill 2016. This exercise follows months of discussions on the Senate on the need to amend the bill. Though the actual amendments to the Act were done by the House of Representatives and passed on May the 31st this year, the Senate concurred with the House and passed the bill today. Early in the year, the Senate had sought to amend the Act, but a public outcry forced it to set it aside. A similar bill has, however, been reintroduced, and this passage is coming months after the trial of Senate President Bukola Saraki for false asset declaration, which commenced at the Code of Conduct Tribunal. And moving on now to another development, the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja, Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory, has dismissed the 16-count charge pending against the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, before the Code of Conduct Tribunal. The appellate court, in a unanimous decision by a five-man panel of justices, held that Dr. Saraki's appeal against his trial lacked merit. Head of the panel, Justice Abdul Aboki, who read the lead judgment, held that the CCT has the requisite jurisdiction to hear and determine the charges against the appellant. The court said the appeal gave the impression that the Senate President was avoiding being tried at all costs. It directed the appellant to return to the tribunal to answer the case the federal government entered against him. And prior to that application being thrown out, the Code of Conduct Tribunal had rejected an application by the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, asking the chairman, Mr. Danladi Umar, to disqualify himself from hearing the case of alleged false declaration of assets on the grounds of bias. The chairman ruled that he cannot be removed except where he has reached retirement age or the president requests his removal through the National Assembly. Interesting developments indeed. And of course, we are still monitoring developments ahead of the November the 26th governorship elections in Ondo State. Today, Justice Okonabang of the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja, dismissed an application filed by Mr. Eyitayo Jegede, the candidate of Senator Ahmed Makafi-led faction of the People's Democratic Party in Ondo State, seeking to appeal its earlier decision that ordered INEC to recognize Mr. Jimoh Ibrahim as the PDP governorship flag bearer in the state. The judge, in a ruling that lasted for about 1 hour, held that Jegede lacked the right to appeal the decision of the court. Justice Abang had on Friday, October the 14th, ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission to recognize Jimoh Ibrahim as the flag bearer of the People's Democratic Party for the November the 26th governorship election in Ondo State.